Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 60. Meeting. That night, a fire had been built on the grass outside the inn. Everyone had gotten together and were getting to know each other. Xian Hezi seemed to have his own small group, while Chen Zhen, Kita, Xiang Cheng, Qi Wei and the others were closer with each other. Xian Hezi was the leader of this small group, and he talked and laughed the entire time. It could be seen that he was trying hard to please Chen Zhen and Kita. To Zhi Xiaoduo's surprise, even Xian Hezi's faction was a little afraid of Xiang Cheng as everyone avoided him, either intentionally or otherwise. Xiang Cheng didn't speak, and Zhi Xiaoduo didn't tease him. They sat next to each other. Zhi Xiaoduo looked around and said, "How about you grill some meat for me to eat, ba?" Xiang Cheng let out an N, and Zhi Xiaoduo used some tongs to grab some food and put it on a plate. Xiang Cheng moved to get up and Zhi Xiaoduo wanted to follow him, but Xiang Cheng said, "Wait here. Don't come here, the wind may change direction, and the charcoal smoke will get in your eyes." Xiang Cheng got up and stepped aside. "Bring me the chili sauce," Zhou Wanyuan said. "Okay, okay." Xian Hezi was all smiles and said, "Does Miss Zhou like spicy food?" "Huh." Zhou Wanyuan said with a bored expression, "Zhi Xiaoduo, ask Xiang Cheng to grill something to eat." "It's already grilling." Zhi Xiaoduo turned his head and saw Xiang Cheng standing in the distance roasting meat. Zhou Wanyuan did nothing but sit and wait to eat, and she was immediately indignant. "Xiaoduo is too powerful." Lei Guangxi smiled and said, "You can even become an exorcist now." "No." Zhi Xiaoduo said regretfully, "I can't cast spells." Xian Hezi didn't pay much attention to Zhi Xiaoduo at first, but then he heard Zhou Wanyuan say, "Exactly how did you get a perfect score, ah?" Xian Hezi's ears twitched, his chin fell to the ground, and he said, "Who got a full score?" "You." "This. You got a full score on the Exorcist exam." "No." Zhi Xiaoduo hurriedly explained, "It's the Yao Subduing Engineer Law, the Yao Subduing Engineer exam. And it was just the multiple choice that I got full points on. You only got deducted 3 points from the essay question." Zhou Wanyuan said, "My dad even used you as an example to lecture me today." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "The Yao Subduing Engineer questions are easy, ma." Xian Hezi paid special attention to Chen Lang, running around everywhere for him, but hearing that Zhi Xiaoduo was so great, he immediately changed his mind and began to chat up Zhi Xiaoduo. He was so friendly that Zhi Xiaoduo was getting goosebumps from his fervor. Kita told a joke, and everyone laughed. Zhi Xiaoduo couldn't resist turning towards Xiang Cheng and called out, "Xiang Cheng." Xiang Cheng turned his head, glanced at Zhi Xiaoduo, and motioned for him to not come over. The exorcists talked about the exam again. Several people had ancestral homes in Qingdao and Shandong, and there were some people from northeast China. Like Xiang Cheng, Xian Hezi had led 3 groups of people through the forest of the Arkan Mountains. There had been many dangers and obstacles, and it had been not easier for either Chen Zhen or them. Suddenly, Zhi Xiaoduo's heart thumped, and he turned to Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng was looking at them, and seeing Zhi Xiaoduo's head turn, he waved at him. "Is it ready? It smells so good." Zhi Xiaoduo ran over with his tail wagging. Xiang Cheng put the grilled meat, fish, and vegetables on a plate and said, "Come with me." Zhi Xiaoduo followed Xiang Cheng in the dark, and they walked to the hillside. The clouds above the Arkan Mountains had receded, and since they were far away from the city, the Milky Way looked like silver powder falling from the sky. The remains of stars and nebulae from hundreds of millions of years ago turned into ubiquitous starlight that sprinkled onto the earth. The bright stars in the clear, vast night sky spread all the way from the end of the southern sky to the far north, leaving behind tracks that looked like the wheel ruts of God's chariots charging through the divine veins. In the quiet night, the Milky Way glowed with gentle starlight, just as if thousands of souls were guarding the world, radiating around the earth in the dark. The two of them sat on the grass. Xiang Cheng cracked open a beer, and it let out a light noise. Then, he lit a cigarette and let Zhi Ziaduo eat more while he himself looked up at the sky. While Zhi Ziaduo ate, Xiang Cheng watched him eat from the side. After watching for a while, he supported himself with one hand in the grass and gently kissed Zhi Ziaduo's hair. Zhi Ziaduo paused in his movements, and he felt a wave of emotion swell in his heart. "Wipe your mouth," Xiang Cheng said. Zhi Ziaduo said, "If I had known that you didn't want to talk to them, I wouldn't have come." "No, no." Xiang Cheng said, "I'm very happy. I've never been happier in my life than I am today." Zhi Ziaduo laughed, and Xiang Cheng said, "When I went to Guangzhou that day, and my parents' ashes were washed away, I was thinking that the bad days should have come to an end then. Out of the depths of misfortune comes bliss, and everything would be fine. Sure enough, I met you." Zhi Ziaduo said, "We will always be together, right?" "Yes." Xiang Cheng nodded and rubbed Zhi Ziaduo's head. Zhi Ziaduo wiped his hands after eating. They lay on the grass and looked at the Milky Way in the sky. "How beautiful ah!" Zhi Ziaduo murmured, "I've never seen such a night sky before. I'll take you to the Ali Mountains later." Xiang Cheng said, "The night sky over Ali Mountains, Litang County and Kongding is also beautiful." Zhi Ziaduo said, "Yes, I passed the Yao subduing engineer exam, so now we can go on adventures together." Xiang Cheng started laughing and looked at the sky. His smile was handsome and mesmerizing. He looked at the night sky, but Zhi Ziaduo looked at him sideways and felt that love was really beautiful ah. It must have been a gift from God that for these past 26 years, he hadn't found a partner this entire time. If he had just hurried around and randomly found a boyfriend, he would not have been taken to the club by Wang Ren or gotten to know Xiang Cheng. It was just like that saying, fate didn't necessarily have the best thing for everyone, but it always had the most appropriate thing. It had still been necessary to wait patiently, and when he thought back on his busy yet dull life, Zhi Ziaduo was surprised to find that his past experiences seemed to have paved the way for him to meet Xiang Cheng. Now they were together, and thinking about the future, Zhi Ziaduo was full of expectations. After the exam, they could go home, study together, go shopping, watch movies, travel all over China, play everywhere, buy a house, and decorate their nest. They could. Zhi Ziaduo touched the corner of Xiang Cheng's mouth, and Xiang Cheng glanced at him. He hugged him and let Zhi Ziaduo lie on his body. The bridge of their noses caressed each other intimately. Zhi Ziaduo looked at the Milky Way reflected in Xiang Cheng's eyes and felt that his eyes were a little sad. Zhi Ziaduo thought for a moment and said, "What shall we do when we go back?" "I don't know." Xiang Cheng said, a little confused. Zhi Ziaduo asked, "Will we go catch Yao?" Xiang Cheng said, "Do you want to go? Exorcisms are very dangerous." Zhi Ziaduo said, "We must work hard for the sake of world peace ma." Xiang Cheng sighed and Zhi Ziaduo touched his face. Xiang Cheng raised his eyebrows slightly, looked at Zhi Ziaduo, and said, "Ziaduo, I've been hesitating this entire time. I don't know whether it's right to bring you along like this. I like this life very much." Zhi Ziaduo said with a smile, "Not having to work in the city and being able to experience so many things, how can that be wrong? But I thought about it before." Xiang Cheng looked into Zhi Ziaduo's eyes, rubbed his head, and said, "Living an ordinary life and being a normal person, that may be the life that I want." "We can do that, yeah," Zhi Ziaduo said, "then we can go back to Guangzhou, no problem. However, I feel like, with your personality, you won't be able to stay in one place. You won't like working a job or on a company because human society and the natural world are very different." Xiang Cheng nodded and said, "You see through me very clearly." Zhi Ziaduo started laughing. He knew that a lot of people were like this, saying that they wanted a peaceful life, but deep down, they more so yearned for change, especially guys. I'm afraid of my Yao Han, Xiang Cheng said. I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself and will hurt you. How can that be? Zhi Xiaoduo said, you are a good person. Zhi Xiaoduo lay in Xiang Cheng's arms, curled around his shoulders, and started playing with Xiang Cheng's collar and poking at his hard pectorals. I'm not a good person, Xiang Cheng said, look at the stars in the sky. What you see are the bright places, but there are so many places, other parts of the night, that are all dark. You like me because everything you see are the good parts of me. It's not like I like you just because you are a good person. Zhi Xiaoduo started to laugh and say, but, I don't actually care about that. Even if your body has a Yao Han, you use it to protect us. Xiang Cheng lowered his head to look at Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo murmured, true light is never a time without darkness, it just can never be covered up by darkness. True heroism is never having no base behavior, it's just never succumbing to that. Xiang Cheng. True courage is not never feeling moments of fear, it is just never being dominated by fear. In addition, true faith is not never wavering, but rather never letting it be extinguished. Zhi Xiaoduo smiled and said, light isn't everywhere, it's just a lamp in the dark that always shines for you. So before going out to defeat outside enemies, you must first defeat the enemy within yourself. You don't have to be afraid of sinking and falling, as long as you continuously pull yourself back up and try again. Who said this? Xiang Cheng asked. Romain Roland, Zhi Xiaoduo replied. Xiang Cheng laughed, shook his head, and didn't say anything more. Xiang Cheng. Zhi Xiaoduo was a little sleepy. The past few days had been like a roller coaster, and he began to show fatigue as soon as he relaxed. Sleepy? Xiang Cheng asked, bending over and picking him up. Zhi Xiaoduo held Xiang Cheng's neck like a koala and was carried by him as they walked towards the inn. It's so great. Zhi Xiaoduo said sleepily, I've liked you for a long time now. At night, Zhi Xiaoduo had a lot of messy dreams. In the end, he rode on the head of a huge boss snake, flew between the stars, and set off fireworks in the mountains. The next morning, Xiang Cheng's palm rubbed against his body. When Zhi Xiaoduo was half asleep and half awake, he felt Xiang Cheng enter again. He couldn't help gasping and was pressed down beneath Xiang Cheng's body. That morning, his pleasure doubled immediately. The two of them did not separate until the alarm clock rang several times and was turned off by Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng kissed Zhi Xiaoduo's face and got up to take a bath. Keaton knocked at the door outside and said, Xiang Cheng, we're having a meeting after breakfast. Zhi Xiaoduo agreed and got up to take a bath. Xiang Cheng's body was covered with soap bubbles, and when he saw him coming in, he hugged him and rubbed against him. No, no more Zhi Xiaoduo felt Xiang Cheng enter again. The two of them stuck against the transparent glass wall, and Zhi Xiaoduo was about to collapse. Xiang Cheng asked, does it hurt? Zhi Xiaoduo felt Xiang Cheng leave, and he still liked it a little. He said, I still want it ba. Xiang Cheng asked, do you want it or not? Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo said, hurry. Hurry up. Xiang Cheng and Zhi Xiaoduo held each other in the bathtub. Zhi Xiaoduo saw Xiang Cheng's wet hair in the mirror, and he thought that they were both comical and couldn't help starting to laugh. Xiang Cheng did it for a long time this time until someone knocked at the door again. Xiang Cheng. Chen Zhen said, Teacher Zhou has something he wants us for. Xiang Cheng pointed to the door and motioned for Zhi Xiaoduo to answer. Zhi Xiaoduo said, oh, okay, Chen Zhen. When Chen Zhen left, Zhi Xiaoduo said, don't let the leaders wait, it's already 11 o'clock Zhi Xiaoduo leaned against Xiang Cheng's shoulder, and Xiang Cheng said, then should we go to the office now? No, No. Zhi Xiaoduo immediately said, let's just do it right here ba. Ah. It was already 11:30 by the time Xiang Cheng finally came out carrying Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo couldn't even stand by then, his head was spinning. Xiang Cheng dressed him and took him out. You go downstairs and eat first. Xiang Cheng said, I'll go and see what's going on. The exorcists in the second group of the practical exam were about to set off. Everyone was having lunch downstairs, and the restaurant was very lively. Zhi Xiaoduo went to get a plate and something to eat. His back and waist were sore, and he felt that his entire body was a bit off. This desire was too strong ba, we did it twice yesterday, twice today, so 4 times in less than 24 hours. Was it because of the snake Huan in his soul? Zhi Xiaoduo used to be so busy at work that he didn't have time to do it, but he didn't feel a strong urge to resolve it by himself. At most, he would do it 2 or 3 times a week. Xiang Cheng's technique was very choppy at first, but during the 2 times this morning he seemed to have already adjusted very well with and could let Zhi Xiaoduo release directly. 4 times every 24 hours, that meant once every 6 hours, so they would end up doing it more than 120 times a month, and 1,440 times in a year. If they did it this way, they would die, right? Zhi Xiaoduo ate and scrolled through his cell phone. He had a boyfriend now, got his mobile phone, passed the certificate, and had fast Wi-Fi. He got the best things in life now. He first searched how to solve the problem of having too much sexual desire, yet he couldn't find any. He had to post on a gay forum and asked, my boyfriend has to do it 4 times a day, with an average of 1 hour every time, and his length is about 20 centimeters. What should I do if it hurts me very much? In less than 5 minutes, a group of people replied the post, scolding Zhi Xiaoduo, asking him not to show off and be careful that he wouldn't be able to get it up soon. Someone below also kindly made a suggestion to let the original poster and poster's boyfriend make 3 rules, they could only do it once a day. If they didn't do it that day, they could let it build up and do it twice the next day. Zhi Xiaoduo replied, but I love him so much and it was only after great difficulty that I could be with him, so I really have no way to refuse him. So, that kind-hearted passerby also grew angry and ran away. Zhi Xiaoduo waited a very long time, but no one else came up with any suggestions, and in the end, a moderator even deleted the post. The reason was complete exaggeration, into the fire, so Zhi Xiaoduo could only give up. Waiting around, he didn't see Xiang Cheng come down to eat, so Zhi Xiaoduo went up to find him. There was a small meeting room on the 5th floor, and a fatigued-looking person was sitting at the doorway, with a SpongeBob SquarePants watch on his wrist, wearing a shirt, shorts, and sneakers. Chow ding ding. Zhi Xiaoduo laughed and said, you're better now la. Chow Ben nodded and glanced at Zhi Xiaoduo. 2 big tall guys from the supervisory bureau were also in the hallway, and when they saw Zhi Xiaoduo, they wanted to come over, but Chow Ben raised a hand, indicating for them to not worry. Zhi Xiaoduo walked over, rubbed his head, and said, you're okay, right, let me check. Chow Ben sat up straight, lifted up his t-shirt, and let Zhi Xiaoduo look. The wound on his abdomen was already nearly healed, and Zhi Xiaoduo was really amazed by his body's healing ability. The bandage was a little red, but his abdomen was already no longer bleeding. Thank you for saving my life, Chow Ben said, if that thing had stayed in my body, I would have died really quickly. It was no trouble, Zhi Xiaoduo replied, it was mostly Xiao Lang and Director Chen, there's no need to thank me. What did you come here for? Chow Ben hesitated a bit. Zhi Xiaoduo saw that the meeting room door was half open, and Zhou Mokuo looked a bit angry and was lecturing people. I selected a few of you guys, hoping that in the near future, you would agree to take on an important task. Mokuo said, chasing and capturing Yao and Mo or working in the exorcism committee are all a kind of ideal. I once thought we had a common ideal. In the conference room stood 5 people, Kita, Chen Zhen, Xiang Cheng, Xian Hezi, and Qi Wei. If you feel no obligation to this, Mokuo said, then I won't force you, and we will end here. Thank you, Teacher Zhou, for your understanding. Xiang Chen nodded, closed the door, came out, and didn't keep talking to him. Zhiziaduo. Xiang Chen glanced at him, took his hand, and went downstairs. Zhiziaduo turned his head around and waved to Chao Ben, who waved back at him. What did he say? Zhiziaduo asked. He wanted me to join some task force. Xiang Cheng said. Oh, Zhiziaduo said, you don't want to go, do you? Xiang Cheng replied, I didn't directly refuse him, I said that I needed to discuss it with you. He asked me to find you to come up, and I said it's not the time to talk yet. I still needed time to think about it, so he got angry. I understand. Zhiziaduo said, middle-aged men sometimes inexplicably get angry, our dean was also like that. Xiang Cheng replied. I don't know what's going on with him at all. The two of them went down to eat. Zhiziaduo thought, Mokuo seems very angry, but Xiang Cheng didn't directly refuse him. Not a moment later, Chen Zhen and the others also came down. The exorcists taking the exam had all already left, and Kita came over with a plate and sat opposite them. Chao dickhead. Kita saw Chao Ben go downstairs and said, come with me to the kitchen to bring out the food. Chao Ben and Kita went to serve food. Everyone sat at one table, put the dishes for buffet lunch directly in the middle, and took food from it. Chen Lang gestured to Zhiziaduo to come sit over with him, but Zhiziaduo wanted to accompany Xiang Cheng, so waved his hand in refusal. Zhiziaduo felt that the atmosphere was a little stiff and wanted to ease it a bit, so he asked Kita, why do you call Minister Chao that? Because he's a walking you know. Kita said, tch, don't you think Chao Xiang is really hot, with a resolute face, stylish hair, salt and pepper stubble, a sexy Adam's apple? Zhou Wanyuan spit out a mouthful of soup. Xian Hezi laughed, patted Chao Ben on the shoulder, and said, Leader Chao is a beautiful man. Chao Ben nodded and asked Zhiziaduo, what else do you want to eat? I'll go get it from the kitchen. Zhiziaduo hurriedly waved his hand to indicate no need. Zhou Wanyuan said, Leader Cao, please bring me some cake. Chao Ben got up and went to get the cake. You're not going? I thought you were willing to help Chao Xiang with this. After Chao Ben left, Chen Zhen asked Xiang Cheng. I didn't decide before. Xiang Cheng replied, I decided now. Chao Ben came back, gave the cake to everyone, and said, I'm very, very sorry for the trouble I have caused everyone this time because I persisted in doing things my own way. With that, Chao Ben stood on one side of the long table and bowed a full 90 degrees to everyone. Everyone was actually more embarrassed now and hurriedly said, it's fine, it's fine. Kita seemed to want to say something, but he didn't say it and just sighed. Whether Xiang Xiang wants to help me hunt down Dinghai or not, Chao Ben said, I'm very grateful to both of you. Let's see ba. Xiang Cheng replied absent-mindedly. High heels clacked away, and the old Buddha came down. Everyone immediately shut up and stopped talking. Xian Hezi quickly got up and said with a smile, Hello Director Linear. Lin Yura glanced at everyone and said faintly, Eat ba. Xian Hezi went to get a plate for the old Buddha, and the old Buddha sat down. For a moment, the table was very quiet as no one spoke. Relax. The old Buddha said coldly, it's not like I will eat you guys. Kita took the lead in laughing loudly and let out a few hollow laughs. No one responded, so he had to continue to eat silently. The atmosphere relaxed a little during the meal, with a small amount of dialogue like hand that to me from Zhou Wanyuan and is this good from Fang Yulan? Zhiziaduo. The old Buddha suddenly said. Zhiziaduo had a Pavlovian reaction and sat up perfectly straight. If you have something, you can find me for that. Xiang Cheng suddenly said, don't make trouble for him. Instantly, silence fell all around, as if everyone's heartbeat could be heard. I'm not making trouble for him. The old Buddha said coldly, you're over-anxious. If I wanted to make trouble, would I have waited until now? Xiang Cheng looked at the old Buddha guardedly, and the old Buddha tried hard to squeeze out a smile. Everyone was stunned, and Kita quickly felt around for his cell phone. However, as soon as he got it out, the old Buddha's smile disappeared. "Ple, please instruct us," Zhiziaduo said, trembling with fear. "Teacher Zheng has 3 things," the old Buddha said, "that he wants you to help with. I don't know if you are willing or not, but whether you are or not, you need to tell me, and I can explain it to that side." Of course. Zhiziaduo was very grateful to Elder Zheng for restoring his memory that had been wiped out by the Lihan pollen and said, "Please continue." The old Buddha took out a bottle, a book, and a ciphered envelope. Xian Hezi immediately got up, bowed slightly, took the bottle, and handed it to Zhiziaduo. End chapter. Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 61. Assistance. This volume is the illustrated handbook of Yao, the old Buddha said. Elder Zheng knows that you like to study, so he hoped that you would help fill in the last 5 pages for him. There's no hard and fast rules, just bring it with you and ask about them once in a while. Zhiziaduo flipped through it casually, before saying, "No problem, I'll do my best." The old Buddha asked, "Do you want to look at the requirements first?" "No need," Zhiziaduo said. "I'll look over it in detail later when I get back." The old Buddha continued, "The second thing, what you have in your hand is a devil sealing bottle. Elder Zheng needs your help in capturing a seed of Mara." Everyone looked at the old Buddha. "What is a seed of Mara?" Kita asked. "After the report, I'll give it to you," the old Buddha said. "The third thing is that there's a diagram of an artifact in the envelope. Elder Zheng wanted you to try and replicate it." "Oh." Zhiziaduo was about to tear the envelope open when Xiang Cheng stopped him. Zhiziaduo understood. Since it was sealed so officially, there might be some unspeakable mystery inside. "There's a time limit of 1 year, the old Buddha said. "Whether or not you can complete it, next year, Elder Zheng will be waiting for you at the examination grounds. You have to return everything to him then. Don't feel pressured though, Elder Zheng said that he and you were brought together by fate, and that you can probably accomplish what he could not. As for why he said so, I am not sure, nor will I ask, so you can rest easy there." Zhiziaduo said. "I'll do my best." The old Buddha pulled out a snuff box. "Everyone, be a little more self-motivated," the old Buddha said coldly. Everyone let out a breath, and Zhiziaduo put the things away. Xiang Cheng, however, said, "I won't sniff it." "It's up to you," the old Buddha said, before shaking the snuff box. On both sides of the long table, everyone breathed in cooperatively, before they all sneezed. Kita. Chao Ben's hands were covered in snot, and his fingers were parted. He found this confusing, but the old Buddha had already gotten up and left. Zhiziaduo. ******. After lunch, the car came. Xiang Cheng packed up their things, and with 2 backpacks slung over his shoulder and said, "Get in the car." "Is everything okay now?" Zhiziaduo asked. Xiang Cheng and Chen Zhen didn't force the matter either, and he said, "After we get back, let's all go out for another meal." Xiang Cheng didn't reply and instead climbed directly into the car. Zhi Ziaduo asked, then are we going home? We're going home, Xiang Cheng replied. Zhi Ziaduo said, going home is very good. Xiang Cheng held Zhi Ziaduo down, kissing him right there in the back seat, before Zhi Ziaduo hurriedly stopped him from taking it too far with the intimacy. The two of them switched to a train, and along the way, Xiang Cheng acted like a wolf, not letting Zhi Ziaduo step more than 5 meters out of his line of sight. On the third day, they returned to that little rented room. A thief had actually come and had stolen their fan and their induction cooker. Zhi Ziaduo was furious at that, and he wanted to file a police report, but Xiang Cheng replied magnanimously, no need. Either way, we can't be bothered to take them with us. With that, he closed the door, and they began to shake the bed. Zhi Ziaduo found this very funny. His own honeymoon month had actually been spent in a rented room, and the two of them got takeout for every meal. They didn't set a foot out of the house, staying inside their rented space. Over the course of a week, Beijing's temperature began to cool, and the autumn air felt dry and crisp. Compared to that, however, Xiang Cheng's frequency remained at a rate of 2 to 3 times a day, leaving Zhi Ziaduo at his wit's end. In the end, Zhi Ziaduo suggested that they take a walk outside, so that they could get rid of some of Xiang Cheng's energy, but when he walked out the door, he felt as if his very steps were uneven. It was early autumn in Beijing, and the streets were covered in the golden leaves of the ginkgo trees. Xiang Cheng went to rent a bicycle, and he took Zhi Ziaduo to many places, weaving in and out of the traffic. How about we stay in Beijing? Xiang Cheng said. Their bike was parked by the roadside while the two of them sat under the trees. Si Gui hopped back and forth on one side, eating the pieces of apricot kernel that Zhi Ziaduo fed it. Zhi Ziaduo, ah. Why? I like this place, Xiang Cheng said. It's very beautiful. Zhi Ziaduo replied, actually, I like Guangzhou a little more, the food in Guangzhou is tasty. Do you like the north? No, Xiang Cheng replied. Let's go back to Guangzhou then, because when I'm with you, I suddenly feel that Beijing is very beautiful. Zhi Ziaduo understood. They had many happy memories here, but Guangzhou was the place that they had met, and Zhi Ziaduo really liked that. It's too hard to stay in Beijing, Zhi Ziaduo said. Even if we buy a $10 million home, we won't be registered residents. We can only go ask the exorcism committee if they can take care of that. But if you go work at the exorcism committee, maybe Chen Zhen will come up with a way to solve that issue for you. Then whatever, Xiang Cheng replied. I don't want to mingle with the likes of them. There were very few people on the road, and in the little house behind them, a Beijing opera was playing. Xiang Cheng stared into Zhi Ziaduo's eyes. Zhi Ziaduo's dragon pupil had already hidden itself under Elder Zheng's tutelage. Look at this. Zhi Ziaduo finally had a chance to look at the things that Elder Zheng had given him. When they had been at home, he hadn't even had the chance to speak, because as soon as he was about to say something to Xiang Cheng had moved to kiss him instead. Xiang Cheng kissed Zhi Ziaduo's ear, before hugging him. He wasn't afraid of anyone looking at them either, and Zhi Ziaduo leaned in his arms, pulling out Elder Zheng's illustrated handbook of Yao, comparing the entries in it to his own notebook. The last 5 pages, Zhi Ziaduo said. The spirit of Mount Wu, the deceased Kun, the black-winged great Peng, the leader of the corpse ghosts that fell in battle, the king of the corpse ghosts, and the illusory yin-yang fox. Zhi Ziaduo flipped through some of the earlier contents, only to find that the part which he had to fill in was part of the departed soul's book. I understand, Xiang Cheng said. These are things that can only be seen with the dragon pupil. Zhi Ziaduo said, Elder Zheng also has a dragon pupil. It's golden. I don't know what difference there is, Xiang Cheng said. There are many mysteries left in this world, but when I have free time, I'll ask after them for you. We have to try our luck. Gathering all of this information in a year's time is very difficult, and we'll be lucky to run into even one. Zhi Xiaoduo said. But it didn't say what the seed of Mara was. There's no need for you to worry about that, Xiang Cheng said. The exorcism committee will send out a report in a while. We'll just have to get the report to know. Zhi Xiaoduo pried open the seal, pulling out the paper inside. On it was a star chart, with 6 stars connected together, opposite a spherical astrolabe-looking device. Below it was a densely packed explanation, below which was inscribed the signature of Zheng Qin. Zhi Xiaoduo figured that was Elder Zheng's name. The handwriting is pretty good, Xiang Cheng said, a little surprised. Zheng Qin probably wrote it himself. How is it compared to yours? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. He uses the guanzhi, Xiang Cheng said. I use the Shaojin style, it's not the same type. Zhi Xiaoduo thought, you're truly so high-end. I'm not the emperor, so why? Ah. Zhi Xiaoduo immediately understood. Xiang Cheng replied. Zheng Qin probably worked in the Qing Bureau of Astronomy, so this diagram is almost 200 years old. How old is he? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. I don't know, Xiang Cheng said, shaking his head. Zhi Xiaoduo read over the notes and explanations in great detail. What Zheng Qin had given him was a short dagger, named the Sword of Stars. Legend had it that since the sun, the moon, and the stars were all considered celestial bodies, they signified the power of the divine vein, and the dagger created from them had the powerful ability to purify devils. But the materials were very hard to come by, and a variety of calculations had to be performed according to the path and trajectory of the stars, all for the final product to be a short dagger about 20 centimeters long. It's so difficult, Zhi Xiaoduo said. And we have to gather many strange energies as well. Leave it be for now, Xiang Cheng said. Let's go to Lingjing Alley to get our certificates. They were handing out the certificates today. Zhi Xiaoduo blossomed with happiness, and after getting his, he planned to Photoshop the content out of it, before taking a pic and sending it in his moments. *******. In Lingjing Alley, the main tower of the exorcism committee seemed to have been completely renovated. The second floor, which had originally been under construction, had opened up, and the first floor had been turned into a main hall. All of the offices had been shifted up to the second floor. Zhi Xiaoduo climbed up to the second floor, only to suddenly find that a row of 10 individual windows had popped up on the eastern side. The individual windows had wide LED displays, on which were a list of those that had passed, along with a ticket machine to the side. Xiang Cheng, the window said, and a slip appeared, telling him to pay his dues. After they paid, Xiang Cheng and Zhi Xiaoduo each got a small booklet. When Zhi Xiaoduo passed by the mission self-service machine, he glanced at it curiously. Oh! Zhi Xiaoduo said, smiling. So advanced. Is the exorcism department handing out missions like this now? Xiang Cheng, standing behind him, glanced at it. Zhi Xiaoduo added, and there's an advance payment of 1,500, that's so little. That's only useful for traveling expenses, Xiang Cheng replied. On the screen of the self-service machine, a lot of information was scrolling past. There were details on the Yaoguai that the regional headquarters across the nation had collected, and most of them were information unknown. Some of them only gave a destination, as well as the person in the region to contact. For example, the Altai region, 4 tourists to Kaunas went missing. Estimated strength, first class or second class exorcists, 1 Yao subduing engineer required. Please obtain the previously collected information from the Exorcism Committee's Field Affairs Division. Receiving Division, the Urumqi Division of Exorcists, room and board will not be provided. Points, yes, dot. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Strange events in the Baidehi Hotel. Estimated strength, second-class exorcist or above, Yao subduing engineers are required. Receiving division, the Hebei Province Exorcism Office. Room and board included. Points gained, none, dot. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. There's so many. Xiang Cheng was also a little astonished, because the messages kept scrolling incessantly across the self-service machine. Hey, are you a Yao subduing engineer? A middle-aged man came over to ask. Oh, yes, Zhi Xiaoduo said. Is there anything I can help you with? Can you swipe your ID for me? The middle-aged man asked. I have no way to accept this mission, since I don't have a Yao subduing engineer to help. I don't need you to do any work, all you have to do is stand by my side and watch. You don't even have to go. Zhi Xiaoduo. No way, Xiang Cheng said. I'll give you money, the middle-aged man said. Zhi Xiaoduo wanted to help him out, but Xiang Cheng said, you cannot take missions randomly. It's right in the Chaoyang district, the middle-aged man said. Look, it's a very simple mission, just investigating a feng shui swindler. I just have to take a trip out there. Zhi Xiaoduo glanced at Xiang Cheng, and the middle-aged man said to Xiang Cheng, brother, help me out here, it's not easy making a living. And saying this, he pulled out a keychain and let Xiang Cheng take a look. Xiang Cheng glanced at the jade pendant hanging from the man's key ring, before nodding at Zhi Xiaoduo. With that, Zhi Xiaoduo pulled out his own ID and tapped the chip against the self-service machine, helping that middle-aged man take the mission. The middle-aged man thanked him profusely, before printing out the form and leaving. Help me accept one as well. Hey, help me out. Instantly, a swarm of people rushed over to him. Bedraggled, Zhi Xiaoduo ran away with Xiang Cheng. They all need a Yao subduing engineer's assistance, Xiang Cheng said. Most of them. Zhi Xiaoduo pressed a button on the elevator, heading up to Chen Zhen's office. In the elevator, the two of them exchanged a few idle words. Right now, the exorcism department seemed to be more inclined towards group efforts, trying to make everyone work with each other and help each other out. But for Xiang Cheng, he evidently didn't like to work together with other people at all. Chen Zhen's office was being renovated, and a note was stuck on it. Director Chen's office has been moved to the organizational division on the 7th floor. They're all being renovated, huh? This exorcism committee was growing a little unrecognizable to Zhi Xiaoduo, as if they had just moved here. The two of them went downstairs again. Xiang Cheng glanced at the office door, which was half open. Chen Zhen was inside, discussing something with someone. Come in. Chen Zhen called. Zhi Xiaoduo lifted his head to look out, and outside the door was the plaque of the organizational department. Chen Zhen nodded towards them, meaning for them to wait a moment as he discussed the matter of the regional exorcism departments with someone else. Zhi Xiaoduo just so happened to find that there was also a self-service machine here, so he and Xiang Cheng stood in front of the self-service machine, looking at it. Should we take one? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Up to you. Xiang Cheng flipped through them. Zhi Xiaoduo continued, so many of them don't have rewards, they all require you to go to the location and discuss. Usually there will be a person to receive you and discuss compensation, Chen Zhen said, during a lull in his discussion as the other person was reading through a report. The points will be used at the end of the year evaluation, and the exorcists and Yao subduing engineers who have done a lot of work will be given rewards. How's that? This system's pretty good, isn't it? It feels like mercenaries taking on missions, Zhi Xiaoduo replied, smiling. It's all been modernized with technology, Chen Zhen said. Now, the end of the year bonuses will be determined by the accumulated points, instead of getting just a little every time. However, there are many things that still need to be polished. Why do all the missions require a Yao subduing engineer? Xiang Cheng asked. Chen Zhen explained, because Yao subduing engineers need to be in charge of the summary report after the case is closed, as well as submitting the report. Many things throughout the process of a mission are things that exorcists won't track down the cause of, so it falls to Yao subduing engineers to do so. And after the exorcism committee was reformed, the most urgent thing was to create a complete database. Director Chen, the person sitting across from him, said, after finishing reading the report. Chen Zhen drank some water, before continuing to help that person resolve their matter. Zhi Xiaoduo began to play around with the self-service machine. He flipped back through the mission list, before looking at the overview. The first thing on the overview was login. With that, Zhi Xiaoduo put his own ID against the machine. Fingerprints will work as well, Chen Zhen said. Zhi Xiaoduo tested his fingerprint, and as Chen Zhen had said, it worked. After he logged in, Zhi Xiaoduo's personal information appeared on it, below which were the points he had received. At the moment, it showed 0. You try. Zhi Xiaoduo said to Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng pressed his finger on it, and likewise, his personal biography appeared. After logging in, they could browse through the whole menu, which was split into 4 major categories: Introduction to the Exorcism Committee, Recent News, Information on Yaoguai, and Exorcism Missions. The introduction to the Exorcism Committee was 5 or 6 pages of eloquent writing on the 3 represents, the Chinese dream, the internal structure, and such matters, along with pictures and biographies for Lin Yura, Zhou Mokuo, and the rest. Recent news was focused on the recent reforms that the Exorcism Committee had adopted, such as the transformation of the system from one of a fixed subsidy model to one where those who worked more got more, and the realization of a nationwide mission database, so that everyone could take a mission wherever they wished, as well as establish a case and send it into the Exorcism Committee's electronic database. After they finished the mission, they needed to make a detailed report at the regional exorcist headquarters, and it would go directly to the evaluation department, who would give it a score. After helping the local government and resolving the issue for the people, some missions had a little recompense that the people of the region would give to the exorcist and the Yao subduing engineer. Before this reform, they were not allowed to accept this type of compensation, in order to avoid exorcists taking advantage of their positions. However, now they could, and according to how the mission concluded, everyone could fill out a form to report those recompenses and pay their individual taxes on it. Of course, there was a limit to how much they could accept, and no single reward was allowed to exceed 4,000. This is great. Zhi Xiaoduo thought. With this, there's finally hope for Xiang Cheng's monthly income to be over 10,000. Let's look at the information on the Yaoguai first, Xiang Cheng said. Zhi Xiaoduo flipped through the information on Yaoguai. There was a rule in there that required Yao subduing engineers to provide information on the Yaoguai, and after the Exorcism Committee's Yaoguai Management Division came to a decision, they would pay them a small sum. There were not many entries recorded in it, and most of them required identification from a professional. Zhi Xiaoduo turned his head back and asked, "Where do we hand in information on Yaoguai?" "You'll need a written report," Chen Zhen said. "And you need to provide as many sketches as you can. If you have a 3D model, that's even better." "Can I handwrite it?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Chen Zhen replied, "You can. At the Information Division's window, there will be someone to describe it for you." This was truly very systematic. Zhi Xiaoduo began to flip through the files that the database had on Yaoguai, planning to copy a few into his book, only to find that most of them were commonly seen Yaoguai, and very few were what he needed. "Are you done looking through it?" Xiang Cheng replied a little absent-mindedly, before returning to the main menu and clicking into the Exorcism Missions section. The Exorcism Missions were the contents that they had seen in the hall on the 2nd floor. When they clicked on it, there was a sub-menu that split the missions into 3 categories, which were, first-class missions, first-class and second-class missions, and unrestricted. Zhi Xiaoduo wondered, Did unrestricted mean that anyone could take these cases? Even a Yao subduing engineer? He clicked into the unrestricted section, only to find that the missions listed there were truly not difficult. Xiang Cheng said, "These are the missions that the people who don't pass take." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "Take a look at the first class and second class ones." Xiang Cheng clicked into the middle section, most of which involved capturing Yao or investigating cases. They came from regional headquarters all over the country. In the end, Zhi Xiaoduo opened up the first class option. Many of the first class ones involved homicides or disappearances. Behind him, the person who had been chatting with Chen Zhen finally rose and left. Chen Zhen got up and poured some water for the two of them, and Xiang Cheng asked, "How exactly are these points calculated?" "The local exorcism committee will calculate it for you," Chen Zhen replied. "Since we don't require a permanent residence now, there's no need to split between regions." "It'll be messy," Xiang Cheng replied. "It won't," Chen Zhen said. "There are only some 400 or so people in the entire nation who have gotten the first-class certificate, so it won't get very messy. Either way, if you take it, no one else will be able to." Zhi Xiaoduo asked, "What if you can't finish it?" Chen Zhen replied, "There will be one chance for you to request assistance, and the information will reappear on the self-service machine. If it isn't completed by the deadline, then you will be banned from taking missions for 3 months, and you will have to write a reflection, analyzing how you failed." "If this situation happens 3 times in a row," Chen Zhen said, "then your ID will be withheld and you will be put under observation, and if you keep going at it nonsensically, your ID will be revoked. Plus, if something wrong happens with the external work and cleanup, this will also be recorded in your file." "How's that? Isn't that pretty good?" Zhi Xiaoduo toyed with that self-service machine and found that in the exorcism missions section, there was a party up function. He thought to himself that the designer must have played too much WoW, to have even added random dungeons jargons. There were a bunch of missions recorded there that lacked a Yao subduing engineer, all of them begging and pleading, kneeling on the ground and begging, doing a 360 back somersault in a snowy land and begging, and Zhi Xiaoduo was torn between laughing and crying at that. It's all right. It was rare for Xiang Cheng to agree with others, but this way, he didn't need to work himself to the bone trying to strike up a relationship with other people. This truly got rid of a major headache for him. "Come, let's discuss your problems, Ba." After the other person left, Chen Zhen sat down and let out a long sigh, as if his head hurt greatly. Xiang Cheng propped his legs up, sitting across from Chen Zhen. "The exorcism committee requires your power," Chen Zhen said, jumping right to the topic. "Save your breath," Xiang Cheng said coldly. Chen Zhen thought for a moment, before saying, "Then, I need your help." The sounds of Xiang Cheng and Chen Zhen's discussion came to Zhi Xiaoduo's ears, and he thought, Chen Zhen must have done a great deal for Xiang Cheng to be able to get his ID. At least, he must have allowed his scantron to pass. If Chen Zhen was asking for help, he would have to think of a way. "I have to help Xiaoduo finish his tasks," Xiang Cheng said. "I don't have the time." Chen Zhen pulled out a cigarette, handing it to Xiang Cheng and helping him light it. Xiang Cheng, however, just raised his eyebrows slightly, not even saying a word of thanks. Teacher Zhou took over Wang Lei's position. Chen Zhen and Xiang Cheng breathed out clouds of smoke at each other. With a slight blow, Chen Zhen made a dragon out of the smoke that coiled around them. As of right now, the exorcism committee is in dire need of new force, and in these past few years, there has been basically no one that can take on heavy responsibilities. "I'm going to say this bluntly," Chen Zhen continued. "The organization lacks people. Xian Hezi, Fang Yulan, Zhou Wanyuan, Li Maoyan, Cheng Hongfei, Qi Wei, Gagan Torurakita, everyone's abilities, I imagine you probably already know." Zhi Xiaoduo's ears twitched, a little surprised as to why Chen Zhen would suddenly bring up such an unrelated topic. Xiang Cheng didn't reply, and he reached out a hand to flip through a small booklet on Chen Zhen's table. "We," Chen Zhen said, "including the people who reached the end in this exam, these 20 or so people, represent the strongest students in the exorcism committee right now." Xiang Cheng said coldly, "There are people up above. I'm not worried. They will retire in the end," Chen Zhen said. Even Gagantoru Akita passed the exam, which goes to show how watered down this round's abilities were. "Kita will curse you out," Zhi Xiaoduo said. "Chen Zhen, I'm telling the truth, what of it? Kita is nothing more than a big kid, always unable to mature. Compared to the Grey Wolf and White Deer 70 years ago, his and Zhou Wanyuan's abilities are truly lacking. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you," Chen Zhen continued. "Xiang Cheng, amongst the exorcists with IDs, your abilities can put you in the top 10. I've made many wrong choices," Xiang Cheng replied unconcernedly. "I dare not bear such an honor." "Don't waffle about such nonsense with me," Chen Zhen said, torn between laughing and crying. He stubbed out his cigarette. "The top 10 here are also the top 10 across the nation. This is a travesty. If even we can become the people at the top, can't you see how scarce talent is? Across the entirety of China, in the field of the supernatural, if anything happens, it will be up to us to resolve it." "Which was why Teacher Zhou was so angry," Chen Zhen said. "N. Xiang Cheng replied. "Are you done?" "Chen Zhen." Chen Zhen knew that Xiang Cheng's next sentence would be, "I'm leaving." Xiang Cheng was just about to rise, only for Chen Zhen to continue. "With great power comes great responsibility. You have to think it through, Xiang Cheng, everyone bears their own innate duty. Every saint has their past, and every sinner has their future. Retreat cannot solve any problem." Xiang Cheng sucked in a deep breath, shifting his seating position, while Zhi Xiaoduo stared fixedly at them. "What do you want me to do?" Xiang Cheng asked in reply. "No need to continue with this chicken soup for the soul. Take missions," Chen Zhen said. "Help me resolve those things that only you can. You also need to save up money, don't you? Catch a few yaoguai. It's just a few punches and blows, it won't change who you are." There was a knock from outside, and Chen Zhen said, "Wait a sec, I don't have the time right now." "It's me." Kita wailed. Zhi Xiaoduo immediately opened the door for him, and Kita wailed, "Help me out. I heard you came. Quick, quick, quick. It's no more effort than you raising your hand." With that, as he pressed away at the self-service machine, he held Zhi Xiaoduo's hand tightly. "Don't give your ID to him," Chen Zhen immediately said. But Kita had already grabbed Zhi Xiaoduo's hand and pressed it against the fingerprint reader. Chen Zhen rose, only for the self-service machine to start beeping. "You are electricity, you are light, you are my only fairy tale," Kita sang loudly, praising the happiness of life and Zhi Xiaoduo's illustrious deeds, before firmly planting a kiss on his face. Because his wife had been taken advantage of, Xiang Cheng flew into a great rage and rose to beat up Kita. However, while Chen Zhen and Xiang Cheng's rage rose, Kita had already turned into a wild dog, retreating with its butt clenched, leaving the three of them with his retreating, giddy silhouette. "Chen Zhen. Xiang Cheng. Zhi Xiaoduo. Just pick any random mission ba." Chen Zhen was so angry that an exhale almost didn't follow his inhale, his heart problems almost acting up because of Kita. "Xiang Cheng, what is he doing? Using Xiaoduo's ID to take a mission." Chen Zhen waved his hand, leaning on the swivel chair as he panted. "Suddenly, I feel like I have a golden finger," Zhi Xiaoduo said. Chen Zhen and Xiang Cheng both put a hand over their eyes, unable to watch for any longer. "I don't want to take on any more homicide cases," Xiang Cheng said. "Not unless it's related to Xiaoduo's missions." Chen Zhen thought for a moment, before saying, there are quite a few cases that have passed through my hands, which involve investigating disappearances and identities. But many of the identity cases involve the government's internal affairs. If you don't mind the trouble, I can consider requesting assistance for you. What kind of help? Xiang Cheng asked. Personnel assistance, Chen Zhen said. I'll send some people to help you out. For example, Zhou Wanyuan, Chao Bin, and the like. You want those two gluttons to make more trouble for me? Xiang Cheng asked, so enraged that he laughed. There was a quick, hasty series of knocks from outside, and Chen Zhen said angrily, who is it now? I don't have the time. With a pang, the door was kicked open. Zhou Wanyuan rushed in, and with a putong, she sank to the ground on one knee, cupping her hands in a gesture of sincerity. Hero! Zhou Wanyuan shouted with great emotion at Zhi Ziaduo. Please save this humble woman's life. Chen Zhen immediately rushed out to pull the plug on the self-service machine. Zhi Ziaduo hadn't reacted yet, before Zhou Wanyuan rushed forward, picked him up, and charged out of the office with him in tow. This humble woman originally lived under the Suzhou Bridge on the city edge, Zhou Wanyuan roared. My family originally had a house and fields. Your chest is so big. Zhi Ziaduo hadn't had the chance to fight back yet before Zhou Wanyuan dragged him away and held him in front of her. She dragged him out into the hallway and vanished into another office. Xiang Cheng ran after them. Took my house and stole my fields. My grandfather fell out with him, only to be beaten down by a single whack from his stick. Zhou Wanyuan's voice disappeared, replaced by the beep of a self-service machine handing out a mission in another office. Thank you, hero, for giving me another chance at life. In my coming life, I'll work my ass off as repayment. Zhou Wanyuan brought Zhi Ziaduo back. Chen Zhen. Xiang Cheng. Zhi Ziaduo. Yay. Zhou Wanyuan laughed gleefully. I've been freed. Zhi Ziaduo returned to the office, the imprint of Zhou Wanyuan's nails still on his wrist where she had used too much force. The three of them were speechless. What are they doing? Zhi Ziaduo asked. Chen Zhen replied, they're afraid of being forced to marry, so they don't want to stay in the exorcism committee. They couldn't find any Yao subduing engineers, so they couldn't take any missions. Oh well, let's not bring this up anymore. I'll keep going. You can also request the assistance of artifacts. With a thud, Zhi Ziaduo's jaw hit the ground, and he asked, what grade? Aside from the restricted use ones, Chen Zhen said in reply, any of them, as long as they can be lent out. Xiang Cheng glanced at Zhi Ziaduo. Zhi Ziaduo was currently thirsting after artifacts, and he said, lend me one to study. Chen Zhen knew that he had finally impressed Zhi Ziaduo, and impressing Zhi Ziaduo meant that Xiang Cheng's participation was also guaranteed. The Luohun bell. Xiang Cheng asked. Chen Zhen, you can't borrow the Luohun bell. The twin-fish jade pendant. Zhi Ziaduo asked. Don't even think about it, Chen Zhen said. You're insane. The hourglass, Xiang Cheng said. End chapter.